And I want to go back for a second and touch on when you orchestrate these parties. We expand more on this to the 7 hidden keys, but some of our listeners might be asking, like, how do I get laid at these parties?
You're basically tapping into her genes, her DNA, and activating her attraction DNA by these subtle signals that you're giving off, by creating a social circle, having these friends.
Please her genes.
Please her genes makes men unstoppable at meeting and attracting the women they want. And introducing underground seduction legend Felix Black.
Some of our listeners might be asking, like, how do I get laid at these parties? There's going to be certain girls there are going to give you certain triggers or signals that they want you to approach and that they're interested in you. And of course, we touch on this in the 7 hidden keys, but just so that you don't fuck up your own events, I highly recommend that you don't go directly and compliment a woman like based on her looks. You want her to feel comfortable at your events. So if you're in the headspace of trying to approach a girl at one of your events that you're interested in, you want to do it in an indirect way. What do you think about that, Felix?
I think the tension's there. I think when you follow the hidden keys, the beauty of it is you're already following the mating ritual, so she feels that you're attracted and she feels attracted. But because you're not overtly saying it, you're allowing it to create the tension. You're implying interest by inviting her to the event, so she knows that you're somewhat interested in getting to know her. You wouldn't have invited her. And so in her mind, she's thinking, is he into me? Is he not into me? I'm into him, but I don't know. And so that even fuels the attraction even more, because it's like sexual tension on steroids. And when she gets to the event, you're still reading the 7 hidden keys and you're escalating in process in the natural state of how things are supposed to be, how every seduction in history that's been successful has gone through. It's our human mating ritual. And by following and paying attention to those keys, if you want to move the interaction forward and you're reading all the signals, you're building the attraction. It's silent in your execution, because you're doing all these things that are super attractive. You're hitting on all her things. You're basically tapping into her genes, her DNA, and activating her attraction DNA by these subtle signals that you're giving off, by creating a social circle, having these friends, being able to introduce her to people, inviting her to the party, you're being ahead of the social circle, then you being able to read her signal and being able to kind of flirt with her a little bit and having those innuendos and those things where she's like not sure if you're like totally into her, but she's getting the signals that you are, and then taking it from there and then being able to escalate at the right point in time. You know, when if you decide you want to move it forward and it gets to the point where she's touched you and you're touching her, now all of a sudden it's escalating to a private location, leading her there, and then, you know, letting things escalate where things just happen, because things always need to appear to women that they just happen. You know what I mean? And once they happen, then you can be a little bit more direct. If she's your friends with benefits, you'd be like, hey, why don't you come over tonight? But she knows what come over tonight means, because you guys have already broke that barrier of comfort. You know, when you first meet a girl, you're ascending through certain levels of comfort until she's comfortable enough to be in bed with you and have that sexual experience. And then once she's had that comfortable sexual experience with you and she wants to do it again, you know, obviously then you can be a little bit more direct. But it's always good to always create some sexual tension. That's really what creates attraction. That's what creates great sexual experiences. And by creating this whole thing where this whole world becomes your foreplay, where you're inviting people over, you're creating this awesome social circle, you're getting so many things done at once. It becomes natural. And when you become like, this becomes second nature to you, dude, it just becomes so easy. It's not even funny.
Man, I love the "it just happened" model that girls have. Like, oh, his dick's inside of me. It just happened. They know exactly what's up, man. They know exactly what's going on, but it's up to you to make sure you don't fuck it up. The just happen effect is a byproduct of following the 7 hidden keys, and at the same time, not rushing the process. Too many guys jump the gun before the girl is ready to proceed to the next step. That's why it's so important to follow the 7 hidden keys.
Yeah, and I think when every guy fucks this up is when they skip steps. They jump to 5, key 5, key 6, key 7, and they don't do the work up front. They don't go through the process. And when that happens, then you're just shotgunning. You're just shooting a shotgun into a lake, hoping it hits something that you can take home for dinner that night. And that's not a way to play any game. You know, that's not.
Yeah,
it's not good for you. It's not good for the woman because you are just unintelligent. You're gonna get the bottom of the barrel. You're gonna be scraping the bottom of the barrel for like the lowest quality women who are really desperate and insecure. You're not gonna move through your interactions as skillfully, as tactfully. You're just gonna be working way too hard. You know what I mean? When you do it naturally, that's what I like to call downstream focus. It's like if you were trying to swim up a river, that's how most guys go about approaching women and attracting women into their life. It's hard as fuck. It sucks. Nobody likes it. The quality of the experience is way lower. It's not good for them. It's not good for the river. Nobody wins. It sucks. And then downstream focus is the shit that me and Guru are talking about, where you basically plop in a light boat and you literally float down the river.
Here's the thing, man. Biology is on your side. Like, when a man and a woman naturally like each other, sex is a natural thing that happens. Too many guys out there think sex is a big deal. I mean, it's not. I consider sex is pretty much like a handshake. It's like, I like you, you like me. Let's shake on it. What a lot of guys are doing, going back to Felix's downstream analogy, is they're paddling the boat upstream. They're trying way harder than they should be. That's why girls have coined the term "try hard" to make things happen. But what they don't realize is things are already happening. Maybe not at the pace that they want it to happen in, but things are already happening. All they have to do is sit back, relax, read the signs appropriately, and lead the interaction to where it's already going. You don't have to push. You don't have to allude that you're gonna, say anything explicit like, "Oh, I'm gonna take your panties off," and you don't have to do that. Like, I've seen so many guys fuck up by trying to dirty talk. Just let things happen and lead. Tell her what you're gonna do by showing her what's gonna happen. You show, don't tell. That's like the number one rule. That's the number one rule for sure.
Yeah.
And the best way to show isn't necessarily verbally. I call it multi-level communication. Like, you can be saying the most mundane shit to a girl, the most mundane thing that's not entertaining. But once that initial level of attraction is there, you want her to start getting comfortable with your touch. So we call this like escalation. Brush the side of her arms. Ask if she can see her hands to see, oh, your hands are bigger than mine. Just any little thing, any little plausible excuse you can use to start touching her physically will start ramping up that attraction.
Yeah, like what we're talking about here is like when you go fishing, you could go out with a pole, a hook, and a bait and throw it in the water, and you could hope you get a fish. And some days you'll catch some days you won't. Or you could build a dam in a river with a net in the only way where the water comes through and covers it from top to bottom, and you're going to get fish that day, every day, guaranteed. Like, that's what building a good social circle will do for you. It's literally building a net in the river in the only place where the water can come out. So that way everything's funneled. Like you get to cherry pick the girls that you want to talk to. You have an intelligent way to talk to them, an intelligent way to invite them back. You're inviting them and introducing them along with other people that are going to be of high value. And then you're able to have a great time with the people you enjoy, with the people that you want to be around, with the interests that you have, with women that have interests that you have. And then that is the field that you're playing on. That is the guaranteed time that you're going to be having. And so no matter what, you're always going to have a good time. You're always going to be in good company. And at the end of the day, pulling everything off at the end is going to be 10 times easier.
So much easier, man. So like this shit really clicked for me. I remember me and my buddies, I had been building my social circle in college, but me and my buddies were out on a bar and we were having a good time at a bar, but we weren't about to like pull a girl. And I remember getting a text on my phone from a girl I'd only met one time at like a social event. And she texted me and she's like, "Hey, you're Sarah's friend, right?" I was like, "Who is this?" Didn't even know who the girl was. She reminded me of her name and everything. And after she was like, she asked me, "Do I want to hang?" I put no word. I didn't really talk to this girl at all, but she instantly initiated like contact with me just because I had that status from the previous time we met. And it's just so easy. Like there's no gaming, there's no try hard. The girls will practically do the work for you.
Yeah, and it's the best because then you get to hang out with your friends, and even if you have your friends, you're all helping each other. Like maybe you met a couple girls out, you're like, "Hey, my buddy really likes this kind of thing," and you could even invite that girl come back, and maybe she likes you more, maybe she likes him more, but he's got the interest, and you can make that connection, and you got all these other girls there. All the other girls feel more comfortable because there's all these other girls there. It's more fun for everybody. Like everybody's doing something they're all passionate about, and at the end of the day, where you're positioned inside of that, like she's gonna remember that, and the attraction she's gonna feel for you is 10 times more than if you just went up and cold approached her at the club, and you're just like, "Oh,
exactly."
She's not even gonna remember you, and you're automatically going into her brain as the club guy, and she's not. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, especially when you're setting up like a good roster of girls while you're trying to figure out which one that you may want to continue having some kind of relationship with, or maybe you're just wanting to have a lot of friends with benefits. There's no better way than setting it up that way where there's no club environment. You're not in the club category. You're perceived as high status. You bring in value to the table. You're sharing a common interest, and it's more than just the sex. And so she's going to feel more comfortable being friends with benefits with you than she would be if you were just like, "Hey, what's up, girl?" Like, blah, blah, blah. And that's like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Man, here's the thing, man. Like, no girl fantasizes about meeting the man of their dreams at a club. Like, you're never going to see it in any female books. You're never going to see any girl say, "Oh, I can't wait to meet the right guy at the club." Like, it's always like at the bookstore, at the grocery store, at the stoplight. Like they have this fantasy, and I know it doesn't matter as much to guys, but girls want that kind of fairy tale effect, that movie effect. They want to have that fantasy where, "Oh, I was just shopping and this guy approached me and then he chatted me up and then we went on a date. Then we had a lot of interest. We started dating and it just happened" effect. Like they want that fairy tale effect. That's why it's so effective to put yourself in situations, especially social situations, where it fits her narrative, because that narrative is way more important to a girl than it is for the guys.
Yeah, and it has to match the story in her brain. I'm just saying I just can't stress this enough. Like literally every single coaching client that I've ever had, she's actually implemented this strategy, has literally had a bottomless well of hot women that they could choose from. And like, it just changed their life. It changed their social life. They felt happier. They had more friends. They made more business connections. They made more money. I mean, there's really nothing that can go wrong doing what I'm telling you, unless you're like super weird or like you're not paying attention to people. The only way this could ever go wrong for you is if you don't follow the hidden keys and you stop being aware of your surroundings and you're just so oblivious to shit that you just, that's when people look like an idiot.
Yeah. What would you say is like the most common pitfall that guys have? Like when it comes to building a social circle that you
I think they have a fear of rejection. I think they feel like they can't just go up and talk to people. Like, it is our human right to be social, and if you go up and talk to someone, obviously you wouldn't go around. This is what guys do with women. It's the same thing. It's so common and everything. You wouldn't just go up to someone like, hey, do you want to be my friend? Hey, do you want to be my friend? Hey, do you want to come to my thing? Hey, do you want to come to my event? Like, that's like skipping the keys. That's like going out.
You gotta screen. You gotta screen the right.
Suck my dick right now. Hey, suck my dick now. Like, I can't read my watch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
People
like,
jump the gun, man. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody listening to this feels weird, but I feel weird saying it. I'm sure you would feel weird hearing it if I walked up to you on the street. I was like, hey, you want to be my friend? You want to come to my party? Hey, do you want to suck my dick? Like, it's going from 0 to 100. Whoa, dude. Just met you. Like, who are you? What's your name? like
what the? Yeah.
That is what we're dealing with here. And when guys are going to club, like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, girl? Hey, what's up, girl? And they're touching that, like, all crazy. Like, dude, that is like going from 0 to 100. That's when you look like a creep. That's the only difference between normal people and creeps. Is creeps go from 0 to 100 like that. Like, but you can go to a 0 to 100 really fast as long as you count each number on the way to 100. That's it. So instead of doing that, you're like, hey, man, I noticed like something. You know, it's like, hey, you're talking to a girl, like, hey, like, I noticed your bracelet. I noticed this. I noticed that. Something outside of what she looks like. And I start talking to her about, like, hey, where'd you get that? Like, oh, tell me about that. Oh, so she's like, oh, so you like to travel. Where'd you go? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, now you have something in common. And you're like, oh, you're like laughing with them. And the conversation may go on for a little bit. Like, hey, I know you looks like you're busy, but hey, I just wanted to stop you and compliment you on your thing. You seem like a really cool person. Like, I'm actually having a get together this weekend. I'd love for you to come. I'd love to introduce you to so-and-so and so-and-so. And, you know, I think you'd have a really good time seeing as how that. Maybe you could school them a little bit on this, that, and the other since you're an expert on such and such, whatever. And she's like, oh, hell yeah, I'd love to come, right? Oh, cool. Put your number in my phone. And then text her right then. She's got the thing. Okay, you got my number? Cool, you got my number? Sweet. I was like, awesome. I'll text you the address, and then I'll see you there at 7. Whatever. Now she's got plans. And you know what? You invite 10, 15 girls that you're meeting in passing that you think are really attractive, which I don't know how guys can walk through the day without meeting at least a week.
At least one.
Chicks. Yeah, exactly. It's like they're everywhere. And if you just get good at starting these conversations, you could be at the grocery store. You could be, you know, just getting food for dinner. You could be out anywhere, really. And you could start these conversations. Not only do you meet all these people, which is not bad for anybody, you get to add value to all of them, and you get to invite them to a cool event, which they probably are boring. Most people live boring lives and do boring things, and they have the same boring shit happening. And like when you come out and you're attentive and you're thinking about, you know, you're actually aware of them, and then you invite them with a very personalized invitation to something you have going on, like it's going to be way better than anything else they've got going on. And you have a lot higher chance of them showing up. Will everybody show up? Maybe not, but most of them will. And at the end of the day, that gives you the chance to further the connection. It's like more touches. You're not going to have as much flake happening. And if they do flake, they're probably not that cool. And you probably didn't do as good of a job screening them up front. So that's all I'm saying is, like, once you get that part down, now you feel the difference. That didn't feel weird or creepy, right? Or if you even just met somebody that you were out talking to, like some guy that you think's a cool dude, like it's your friend, I think he might be good in your social circle, and you invite him. Of course, no other guys have the balls to invite anybody else out to do different things. So by you inviting him, he's like, hell yeah, now he's got a friend. Now he's coming out to whatever thing, and you guys have a common interest, whether that's going for a hike, going camping, going this, doing that, whatever it is that you're passionate about. So it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like anything.
Yeah, definitely, man. Just going back what Felix said, like, you have to determine what kind of group do you want to have. That's step one. What kind of group do you want to have? And then the second step is screening, like becoming aware of those opportunities that we talk about it in the 7 hidden keys, becoming aware of them, and then inviting them into your world. Where I see guys mess up isn't just the 0 to 100 thing, but they think in terms of what can this person do for me. Instead, you want to be adding to their mission so that playing the long-term game, playing the social game, eventually other people are going to want to give back to you and your community if they see value from it. Like if you start giving value to people, even at the grocery store, just having a good conversation, let's say they're not a good fit, but they had a good time talking to you. If you just start giving value here, there, if you had 100 value units to give, a certain percentage of those are going to come back to you a day. A certain percentage of people are going to want to give value back to you. And then not only that, but other people are going to start spreading your name. Hey, I know this really cool guy that has this thing that happens every Saturday where he invites some really cool people. You should come too. Now several other people have something, a concrete event that they can invite their friends to, and then their friends can invite their friends to, and it's just that trifecta effect. Now, going back, a lot of people are going to try to implement this. I remember when I first tried to implement this, not a lot of people showed up at my first party, but that's okay. You have to understand that your first party is probably not going to be your biggest party. The main thing is consistency and making this a ritual. Have a specific time and date that you do this, but do it over and over again. And maybe not the first time, maybe not the second time, but the third time. Somebody that might have missed the first 2 parties shows up at the third one. Now they're a lifelong dedicated member to your tribe because you've offered just such a valuable experience for them that they can't find that anywhere else. They can't find that anywhere else. And it goes back full circle. The number one thing that you need to do when you're at these parties is creating a memorable experience for the guests. I promise you, they will pay you back in tenfold if you just make them have a good time. Make sure that they have a good time.
Yeah, and I think you touched on something really cool there. Is like, the first time you do anything isn't always the best. You know what I mean? Like, but it will get better, and I think even the first time will be better than you could ever imagine. You know what I mean? And the best part is like you want to get to the point where you don't give a fuck if you get laid that night because you have so many dope people around. It's not even question. You're like, I'm gonna have a good time no matter what. And if you have that mindset and carefree zone and you're really attentive and you're paying attention, dude, that shit's just gonna happen. But also being aware of the keys. I can't stress that enough. Like the keys is what makes this easy in any situation. If you, like I said, if you skip steps in the process and you don't show genuine interest in people and you seem like you're just trying to get something from them, even if it's as simple as getting them to come to your party, dude, all of a sudden, every spark of attraction or any spark of interest that person's going to have when coming to hang out with you goes out the window. You know what I mean? Relationships are built, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And it's not about saying that you care. It's about showing that you care through mindfulness and being aware and, paying attention to things that they're interested in and listening to their stories and letting them talk about themselves and then deciding whether you want someone like that around, you know what I mean, in your social circle. But yeah, man, I think you touched on a lot of cool shit. Good shit, man.
Yeah, man. Do you have anything to add?
No, I would say if anybody wants more information on it, definitely get into the keys. We have an in-depth program that shows you step-by-step each stage of the human mating ritual, but not just that. It has so many applications above and beyond that, whether you're making friends or anything like that. If you cut out obviously the escalation and the sexual part, but if you're having interaction with anybody, obviously you want to be able to initiate those conversations and being able to, the concept of not going from 0 to 100 is the same. Obviously, the hidden keys are mating ritual, but I mean, I would strongly recommend someone, if they want more information, to go in the deep dive of that, because that obviously is going to make this whole strategy, it's going to pour gasoline on it. Obviously, you go out and apply this today and you're going to see massive results, but obviously nothing's going to be more than that, and then, obviously if you guys sign up for a coaching, I mean, we have really crazy deal right now where you can get in for hardly nothing for our weekly calls. And those are the same kind of things where you just can get massive value every week and be able to go out and apply those things in the field and really see some results, not only in your personal growth and your relationships and your connections with women, the friends, your social circles, like every part of your life. This is something that's like a cornerstone habit. It's a cornerstone thing. And like once you handle it in your life, it literally overflows into everything, your income, your business, your job, whatever. And, so really excited to share all that stuff with you if anybody's interested in more information on
that. Yeah, for sure. Can't wait for next week, man. This was great. Super valuable. Valuable.
You too, Guru. Yeah, this is awesome, man. Yeah, so if anybody wants to get involved, we're going to put a link there in the bottom. If you just want to click on that. Obviously, it'll get you all the information you need if you want to get started on more information on that. If not, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Everybody have a good night.
Please Her Jeans is partnered with Xander Holt and his amazing program, Rock Hard for Life. The Rock Hard for Life formula is the world's most comprehensive program for men's sexual health. If you join Rock Hard for Life today, you get access to the life-changing breakthrough Rock Hard for Life formula, plus Felix Black's foundational dating content. Xander Holt and Felix Black have developed the ultimate one-stop shop to make your health and sex life rock solid. Go to rockhardforlife.com to get started.